Kristen here. Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to share with you my 10 before the end. That's the 10 books I most want to read before the last day of 2025. So let's get to it. Okay, so without further ado, my 10 before the end list. First on the list is something I plan to read every year, not the book, but the genre, and that is a holiday romance. Every year around this time, I have one or two holiday romances on my TBR. I want to get all Christmassy and all sweet and romancy, and then I never read them. I never read a holiday romance book in December, ever. I never do it. So why do I think I'm gonna do it this year? I don't know, but this book, the cover, the title, the plot, it's just really calling out to me, and that is Good Spirits by B.K. Borison. The cover on this is so cute. This was definitely a judge a book by its cover book. If I read this book and I don't like this book, I'm gonna be so sad because the cover is so cute. Just everything about the cover calls to me. The colors, that light blue background, the snowflakes, her big red bow. I just love everything about it. So if I don't like this book, I'm gonna be really sad. The thing about this is the male love interest is the ghost of Christmas past. And I mean, how can you not a romance with the ghost of Christmas past? I'm so excited. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna put a holiday Christmassy book on my 10 before the end this year, and I'm gonna actually do it. I'm gonna actually read the book. This will be my first B.K. Borison book, and I am not a big contemporary romance fan. I find myself getting bored a lot of the times when I read a contemporary romance, but there are exceptions to the rules if there's something else going on in the contemporary romance that can hold my attention. And so with Good Spirits, part of the plot has this speculative paranormal element to it, and I'm hoping that that is gonna be like the thing that like grips me. I don't know what I'm trying to do, but like claws me and pulls me in and keeps me interested. The next book on my 10 before the end is a complete 180 from Good Spirits, and that is The Second Death of Locke by V.L. Bovalino. And I believe this is a debut author. I believe this is the author's first book. If I'm wrong about that, someone feel free to correct me, but people seem to really love this book. It's got lady knights, it's got romance, it's got yearning, it's got a quest. I'm really excited for this book. Honestly, the cover probably would not have pulled me in on this one, and I probably would have read just like the first few lines of the synopsis and be like, whatever. But it was getting so many good reviews, and I was seeing it talked about a lot on social media that I went and actually read the whole summary, the whole like synopsis, and it sounds so good. We have Gray, who is a knight, and we have the mage who she protects. We have a quest involving protecting a child, and we have Gray, I believe, very much being in love with her mage. Now I could have that wrong because obviously I haven't read the book yet, but it sounds like from the reviews that I've read, there's a lot of yearning and found family, and I'm really excited to read this book, and I don't have a copy of it yet, but I'll probably read this one on my Kindle, but I'm very excited to read this one. Okay, the next book is one I actually have in print, and that is Shield of Sparrows by Devney Perry, and I have been planning on reading this book for a while now. I picked it up at a bookstore like 2 months ago, and I was so excited, and I have not read it yet. And then I was thinking about reading it on my Kindle instead, because you know it's a little bit of a thickie, but I didn't. And guess what? When I started planning for this video last night, I picked up this book, and I read 133 pages of it. So I've been in a little bit of a reading slump ever since I finished Alchemy of Secrets, which I love, by the way. I haven't really been able to get into anything else. I've started like 5 or 6 other books and read just a little bit and been like, oh, bored. But this one actually sucked me in right away. I was very interested in it, so I'm super excited. Obviously, this has been all over social media. It's been a very popular release of 2025, so that was one reason I wanted to get into it. But I think part of the reason I kept putting it off is because the synopsis on the inside cover is a little bit vague, And so I wasn't really sure what the story was going to be about, but it is about a princess who was kind of like the second choice princess for everything. She was really good at being a princess. Her sister kind of did a lot of the more princessy roles for her father, the king, and her stepmother. And through this series of events that I won't spoil for you, and this is right in the synopsis, she ends up on a ship floating off to another land with married to a prince from another kingdom, and she wants to learn how to fight, and I guess she's going to be fighting monsters, and I truly don't know where the story is going, to be perfectly honest. I haven't been spoiled or anything. I haven't even read that many reviews on this book. I've just seen a lot of talk about it. What I hope happens is that as she sails off to this other land with all of these people and these warriors from this other land, I hope that she becomes like a fighter and a warrior and a badass. I don't know if that's gonna happen or not. First book from my 10 Before the End list that I have actually started. Let's hope I finish it. Let's hope it becomes the first book on this list that I get to cross off as finished. Okay, next on this list is a book I don't own in print and I don't own in my Kindle, but I still want to read it before the end of 2025. And that is Red City by Marie Lu. Now, I have read some of Marie Lu's other stuff. I read The Young Elites. I read the first 2 books in that trilogy, and I really liked them. I didn't know anything about Red City, and then it was just like out, and I was like, what is this new series? This is the first in a series that's going to be called The New Alchemist, and alchemy is like the theme for 2025. There have been so many books with alchemy in the title or alchemy in the story. It's been such a thing this year in book releases. You know, there's always like a hot thing every year. I guess it was alchemy for 2025. But something about this book just really appealed to me. So the very first thing the synopsis says is The Godfather Meets the Magicians. Yes, please. For fans of V.E. Schwab, yes, please. A dark and deadly contemporary fantasy of magical warfare, star-crossed ambition, and the pursuit of perfection at any cost, set in a glittering, alternate Los Angeles. I don't know a lot of people who have read this. I'm not saying it's like an under-the-radar release, because it is Marie Lu, and I have seen it talked about a little, but I just haven't seen it talked about enough, to be perfectly honest. Like, I'm really looking forward to reading this, and our 2 main characters are like 2 people from rival crime family syndicates who've known each other since childhood, but of course. So I'm hoping there's like a little bit of romance, maybe a little bit of like a friends to lovers, or like a friends to enemies to lovers, or I don't know. I think that the like crime family and alchemy aspects of it, for whatever reason, just really interested me. So I'm really excited to read this, and hopefully I get to it before December 31st. Okay, the next book on my list should surprise no one. In fact, while filming, I have already referenced this author. That is Tourist Season by Brunne Weaver. This is the first book in her new series, The Seasons of Carnage, which is going to be a trilogy similar to the Ruinous Love trilogy, which I love and highly recommend if you love serial killer contemporary romances with a lot of spice. While this story does have a small connection to the Ruinous Love trilogy, which I won't spoil for you, it is mostly an original trilogy with brand new characters. So I am really excited. I love those other books. I'm really looking forward to these. They're usually like very quick, easy, fun reads. There's usually a lot of laughing out loud and kicking my feet and blushing. The next book on my 10 Before the End list is The Everlasting by Alix E. Harrow. Despite owning copies of some of Alix E. Harrow's other books, I haven't actually read any by this author, and this will hopefully be my first. This is the other theme of 2025, that is Lady Knights. I don't think anybody is complaining about this trend, but it seems like alchemy and Lady Knights are like the 2 things we're suddenly getting a lot of releases that have to do with. From like late summer and into fall, it's all about alchemy and Lady Knights. Are there any books that have alchemy and Lady Knights in them? Have you guys seen any of those? The summary of this story is so intriguing to me. And to the best of my knowledge, this is just like a one-off. This is a standalone. This isn't a series. So you get like the really complete story, which I'm really looking forward to. I love series, don't get me wrong. But sometimes it's nice to read like a whole book, like beginning to end, you're done with it. So The Everlasting is about a lady knight whose legend built a nation, and the cowardly historian sent back through time to make sure she plays her part, even if it breaks his heart, because obviously he's gonna like fall in love with her, or she's gonna fall in love with him, or they're gonna fall in love. I don't know, we got lady knights, we got time travel, we got romance. Honestly, I don't really even need to know much more about it. Sign me up. Oh my god. The next book on my 10 Before the End list is another break from my norm. It's another contemporary romance. If It Makes You Happy by Julie Olivia. This book is set in the 90s, and it has a fall theme. And I put it on my list back at the beginning of October, thinking that, oh, it'd be perfect to read in October. And then I didn't get to it, shocker. Now it's November, and it's perfect also to read in November. Have I read it yet? No. Am I a little intimidated because it's a contemporary romance? I'm afraid I won't like it. Yes. Am I super excited that it's set in the 90s? Yes. Super, super excited about that. So our male love interest is a single dad and a hot baker. What? Our female love interest, our main character, she is taking over her mom's bed and breakfast. The town that they live in is Copper Run, Vermont. I mean, this is all perfect. It takes place mostly in the fall. I think it's late 90s, like 1996 or 1997. So there's like no cell phones. A lot of the technology we don't have now won't be in the story. And I just love books and movies like that because it takes some of the easiness out of the equation. Like, you can't just text somebody you're coming over. You have to stop by their house. Also, every time I see the title, I start singing the Sheryl Crow song. If it makes you happy. Okay, next on my list is a book that is on Kindle Unlimited that is just sitting on my Kindle collecting virtual dust. The Things Gods Break, which is the second book in the Crucible series by Abigail Owen. Last year I read the first book in this series, which I think was called The Games Gods Play, and I loved it. It was one of those books I had not heard anything about. I had heard nobody talking about it. No chatter on the interwebs, and I just read it. It was kind of great. It was just organic. I was on Amazon's site. I was looking at Kindle Unlimited books. I was in the mood for some mythology. This came up, mythology, romance, great. And I freaking loved The Games Gods Play. Why haven't I read the second book? Why haven't I done that yet? So I'm not going to tell you a whole lot about it just because that's not what this video is for, but Lyra is our main character. She's human. She lives in the human world. Through a series of events, she ends up being in this game that the gods play. And we've got all of our mythology gods here. We've got Zeus, we've got Hades, we've got Athena, we've got them all. There's romance. It was definitely not like a spicy. That's like spicy and smutty. I kind of like that actually. It's definitely not a very spicy book or a smutty book. There is romance, there's a little bit of spice. It was really more about all the trials that Lyra was going through, and then her slow burn romance with Hades, which was amazing. And then of course it ended on a huge cliffhanger. So I'm really looking forward to reading the second book, The Things Gods Break. I haven't even read the synopsis of it. We're picking up where we left off, so whatever happens, happens. Hopefully I get to it before the last day of 2025. Oh wait, was that 9 books? That was 9 books. We're on the final book. Ah! Okay, oh no, that was only 8 books, sorry. The second to last book, book number 9, is Mate by Ali Hazelwood. If you've been watching my recent videos, you've seen me talk about this book several different times as being on my TBR. I swear if you don't see me listing this book in my November wrap-up, somebody come here and shake me really, really hard. Because again, I love Bride. I love Bride. Why haven't I picked up Mate? Why haven't I done that? Is it the fear of being afraid that the next book in a series you really liked isn't going to be good? What is that? I don't know. But yes, Mate by Ali Hazelwood. Supposed to be cute, sexy, funny, romantic, a nice, quick, easy read. everything that I love and a good fantasy book for this time of year. That's why it's on my 10 before the end. It's on like every freaking TBR that I've made, and I have made many recently. It's on all of those lists, so this book needs to get read. Now we're at the last book. Book number 10, Heir of Fire by Sarah J. Maas. So I have been rereading the Throne of Glass series because I love those books and I've never done a because I love those books and I've never done a reread. I did a reread of the 3 original ACOTAR books, the trilogy, last year sometime, and I actually enjoy the Throne of Glass series more, or I did at the time when I read both of the series. So I've really been wanting to do a Throne of Glass reread. It's a lot more emotional and it's a much longer series, so that's why I was kind of putting it off. But I have read 1 and 2, but I really just want to get into book 3. I really want to get into Heir of Fire because for me, that's when the series like really jumped off. That's when I was hooked. That's when I was obsessed. That's when I was like staying up till 4 in the morning to finish these books. Started with Heir of Fire, and that is also where we meet Manon. So yes, Heir of Fire, I would like to finish that before the last day of 2025 so that I am continuing my reread. I'm not binge reading them all in a row. I did reread Throne of Glass and Crown of Midnight pretty much back to back, but then I wanted to take a break because there are so many other books I want to read, as you can see from this list. Okay, so that's it. Those are the 10 books I really want to get to before the end of 2025. Please don't suggest me any more books in the comments. But if you have read any of these, please let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Is there 1 or 2 I should prioritize? Is there something you've read that you really, really love that you want to make a strong case for? Let me know. Also, thank you guys as always for watching. If you want to give the video a like, I would really appreciate it. And you should definitely subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any more of my videos. I will see you guys next time. Thanks. Bye.